The sudden rush of energy from the portal whirls around you, white noise ringing in your ears, and images of history flashing past your face. It's only been a few seconds and you've already forgotten to keep Yanine's eyes locked on you. She's staring off in every direction. Meanwhile, you feel the grip of Sabine's arms around you tighten with every passing moment and era. Her eyes are shut tight and you can hear her mumbling something in her native language. "What are you doing, Sabine?" You scream over the sound of an explosion from some conflict in the 24th century. "I can't stay there," she yells back. You can feel her tears soaking into your dress. "There's no life for me there anymore. I want to start over." "Well, you picked the worst time to confess that," you yell, trying to pry her arms off while still holding Yanine's hand. "Look at that," Yanine says, and out of habit you glimpse over and see a parade and fireworks signaling the end of a long war in the 23rd century. "Yanine," you yell as you refocus back on her, "keep your eyes on me. Stop looking around." But it's too late. She's lost in the passing moments of history, commenting all the while on historical figures and archaic societies that have long since disappeared. After a couple of minutes of screaming for her to refocus, you give up and just glare at her. At least one of you won't be in dire straits when you arrive. Your cuff illuminates and tells you the orb is recalculating your arrival point. Original location not suitable for new passengers. Oh, great. Who knows where it's going to drop you all now? It takes all of 5 minutes to traverse the half millennia. Like always, the sights and sounds of the portal don't slow. Everything just stops, and you're in a dark alleyway somewhere in New Orleans. Immediately, you feel sweat beading on your forehead, and the period clothes you're wearing are starting to stick to your skin. Everything feels damp and hot. You don't have time to take in much else as Sabine pitches forward and begins to vomit, her violent heaves echoing throughout the alley. Meanwhile, Yanine is in an ecstatic trance, babbling on about some 22nd century actor she witnessed, her eyes rolling in the back of her head and her body twirling like a drunken ballerina. You try to manage both of them, but between consoling Sabine and corralling Yanine, you just can't keep up. "Everything all right?" A husky drawl comes from behind you. "Oh, yes," you say, throwing on your best southern accent. "I'm these two's nursemaid, and they're suffering from a very violent reaction to their maladies. Best to stay away. Might be catching." The man steps forward, and you see that he is donning a dark blue uniform with a rounded hat and gold-plated badge on his breast pocket. A policeman. "Maybe I can help with escorting y'all to the nearest infirmary. Lots of sickness going around since the hurricane hit." "Oh, no, thank you. These ladies have been ill for many years. Thankfully, the good Lord saw to it to provide me with a natural immunity. I would hate to endanger a fine man like yourself, though. Oh, dear. Is that a spot forming on your hand, darling?" You motion down towards Sabine. "Looks like you're having a flare-up. If you're going to help, sir, best to press a handkerchief over your mouth and nose, unless you want to be down there joining her." "You're all right," he says, starting to back away. "If you need anything, the Red Cross has a tent set up a couple blocks away." As soon as he gets out of sight, you wheel around and slap Yanine across the face. The sudden shock pulls her out of her trance, though she starts to complain of a massive headache. "No time for that. We have to start moving. The tap will have been notified of our auras by now." "What about Sabine?" "Looks like she's got it out of her system now. My concern is the way she's dressed. Flimsy thing like that isn't really public attire. Wait here," you say, edging to the end of the alleyway and looking out. Despite some debris and minor damage to several buildings, you can't tell that a hurricane hit the place. People are bustling up and down the road. The sound of a trumpet rings out, and the smell of something delicious wafts on the warm breeze. What a delicious mix of the senses. You duck back into the alley and tell your cuff to contact Mara. "We got displaced," you say as she comes on the device. You're just off of Basin Street, she replies. The neighborhood is called Storyville. Change of plans. You need to get out of the city now, Mara. Get rid of anything you can't carry and take the credits in the orb to a safe location. And what about your extra traveler? I'll figure that out when the time comes, you say. Just get moving before they put up checkpoints and have your face plastered on wanted notices. You spend the next few minutes getting Yanine and Sabine back to their normal selves. Sabine starts crying and says she's sorry, explaining again that she just felt in the moment she wanted to escape her life. You put your hand on hers and tell her you understand. But right now, she needs to compose herself, and you all need to get moving. What about her outfit? Yanine slurs as she puts a hand against the wall to steady herself. Luckily, we're in the one part of town where people might not care about that, you respond, still looking out at the street. Still, better for us to get you in one of these establishments with as little notice as possible. What do you mean, establishments? Yanine inquires. This is Storyville. It's known for its jazz, cuisine, and brothels. Yanine's eyes widen and you can tell one of her contacts has fallen out. Oh well, nothing to do about that in this time period. You tell both girls to stay in the alley and you dart off down the street looking for a place for them to go. One of the nicer ones, you think. Won't take advantage of them. Passing a couple of restaurants and bars, you suddenly feel your gut rumble with hunger. Time travel always does that. You walk frantically for a couple of more blocks when you think you see it. Yes, the marble exterior, the stained glass over the entrance, mahogany hall, and seeing a gentleman exiting the door, you can tell it's up and running. A good enough starting point. You rush back to the alley, but as the dark passageway comes into view, your stomach turns over at the sight of a man accosting Sabine. The tap couldn't have found them that quickly, could he? You duck behind a fruit stand that is within earshot and try to listen to what the man is saying to Sabine. He's got her by the wrist and you feel a boiling heat in your neck. Come on, darling, you hear the thick New Orleans accent. I've got a great job for you to do. It's not the tap. Way too much personality. You look around to see if anyone is paying attention. Nothing. You rush forward and immediately feel the cumbersomeness of the dress. You feel like you might stumble at any second, but find your stride and lunge your body into the man's side at the last possible moment. The impact catches him off guard and he loses his grip on Sabine as a result. The two of you careen into the corner where the alley meets the street, the man's back taking the bulk of the impact. You hear him let out a grunt as the two of you slide down to the pavement. You feel a sharp pain shoot down your spine as you come to your feet, and for a moment your arms start to go numb. Shaking yourself, the feeling slowly comes back and you go to grab Sabine to leave. As you reach out to her, you notice that Yanine is not in the alley. Looking around at the crowd, you can't find her anywhere on the street either. Where did she go? You question Sabine, and the intensity in your voice startles her, and she hesitates to take your hand. You grab a hold of her and pull her to her feet anyways. Where is she, Sabine? You say louder, and you hear the man start to stir and cuss. Better move before the guy figures out what happened to him, you think, but you can't leave without Yanine. You crane your neck some more, but the giant of a woman is nowhere to be found. You resign yourself that you'll have to locate her later, and the two of you start off to Mahogany Hall. You bitch, you hear as a small object is pressed into your back, and you hear the click of a hammerlock. Think you're some savior? Well, I'll show you the hospitality I was going to give your friend. Come on. You too, Blondie. You mouth to Sabine to run, but she is frozen and then just starts to comply. As the three of you sink back into the dark alley, you close your eyes and just try to think about the beautiful sounds and smells that are around you. This'll all be over soon, you keep telling yourself.